Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay.
Yeah. Or I guess if you're, whenever you head out, you can.
Okay.
Yeah.
I apologize, I didn't ask her. You don't mind us taking photos, do you?
Oh, no, no, no.
All right. Okay, well, my name is Izzy Carney, and I'm here with John Miles Lewis at the closing reception for the DC Commission on the Arts and Humanities exhibition, Legacy, Civil Rights at 60. Today is March 1st, 2024, so first just want to ask you, do I have permission to record this interview?
Yes.
Yes, okay, great. So John Miles Lewis has agreed to tell us a bit of his story and how it relates to civic action. So let's begin with, tell us a little bit about yourself and your earliest memories of civic action.
Okay, my name is John Miles Lewis. My father was Congressman John Lewis from the 5th District, Georgia. Let me see. What would be the first? I don't know, I guess the first would be probably when my father marched in, was setting up his march for Forsyth County to march through Forsyth. I think that was about 86 or 7, somewhere around, maybe 88. And it was a lot of just drama surrounding it. Jesse Jackson came down, and Coretta was supposed to go because the Ku Klux Klan was telling them not to come, and was saying, you know, they're gonna hurt them if they come and whatnot. But they went ahead and did it. Had a lot of people with them behind them and marched through Forsyth, and even to this day, Forsyth is still racially, you know, it's still a racial hotspot, but it's getting a little bit better. But slowly but surely, it's getting better. Yeah, so that's probably one of the first earliest ones.
So you were around 10 or so?
Yeah, probably around 9, 10, somewhere around in there.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Well, maybe this is a good going off question, but tell us about a significant protest experience that you've participated in at any age. Paint a vivid picture of where you were, who you were with, and what cause you were supporting or acting against.
Oh, that'd be the Klan again.
Yeah.
I was, let me see, I was 15 years old, and everybody who knew that the Klan was marching down in Atlanta, down Peachtree Street in Atlanta. And so basically it was almost a free for all. They let all the kids, like once all the mail found out, everybody in Atlanta public school basically left school.
Wow.
And we all went down there, and, you know, parents and other people were just like, well, you know, rebel rousing, right. We were like, no, we're tired of this. And ran out there on them. And got into an altercation with them all up and down Peachtree Street, like, no, y'all ain't doing this anymore.
Right.
And it actually worked. The march downtown, the last march they had downtown, from that time, which I think was 92, would have been 2017. So they didn't have another march until 2017 from that time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Did you, just curious, your father's such, you know, a prominent figure, did you feel you mostly followed his political leanings and footsteps, or did you feel there was a time where this was your civic action and your cause? And
some of both. If I felt his stance was right, which it normally was, but I probably would think maybe some different kind of action needed to take place, because sometimes with the old guard, it's a little bit. It's the premise still works, but the way you execute is a little bit antiquated. So that's what we would kind of bump heads, you know, a little bit, but not mostly. Mostly we were on the same page, except for that. Yeah.
That makes sense. Well, since you're from Atlanta, I'm not sure how much this question maybe you'll have experience in, but seeing as we're in the nation's capital, DC has always been a big hub for protest and direct action. So do you have memories of coming here to DC for actions, or were most things revolving around Atlanta and Georgia?
Most things around Atlanta. I'd probably say the biggest thing that I was happy that my father and my mother saw. My mom was sick at the time, so she wasn't able to come. But when seeing Barack Obama get inauguration, I thought that was. I was just happy that my mother and my father saw it in their lifetime, and I thought that was an incredible moment to where you can't disrespect the fact that we're here.
Right.
Regardless of how anybody feels about politics, that's not the point. You know, that's not the point. That it is possible. When you hear that little kid, yeah, one day you can be president to a little black boy, they just like, whatever. Okay, yeah. But then when it happens, it blows your mind. Like, really, did this just happen? So I think that was extremely. I was just proud to be there at that moment. So that was an incredible part of history. I was glad to be a part of.
Yeah, no, it sounds really powerful. Think back on a civic action you took part in. Can you share a happy memory or a sweet moment? And can you share a difficult moment or something that really challenged you?
Let me see, happy moment. I remember walking when Dad was when he won '86 to go to Congress. I remember that, and we all took to the streets. We like shut down Peachtree Street. We all just won and just basically took it over. Everybody just kind of got out of cars and walked with us down Peachtree Street, and it was just a good celebration for him first running in '76, and then a decade later winning. So it was just a good experience. That was a real nice experience. And what was the other one? The other
something
question?
a challenging or difficult moment that you experienced in civic action.
Let me see.
Yeah, take your time.
I don't know if I would say it was in civic action. I could probably say when I was young and I was like just walking, and we had some tables in the house I grew up in, and I just because I grew up with just pictures of everything and seeing Dad at the end of the Edmund Pettus Bridge and just standing still, and then the pictures kept going, almost like a flip book.
Oh wow.
And then seeing him just get beat up in black and white. So my beef was never with black or white, it was with the police. Because that's all I knew what it was. It wasn't really no concept of black and white to me at this point. So all it was, oh, okay, the hell with the police.
Yeah.
And it's still to that day in certain aspects, it's like, wait, it's so easy for y'all to be. It's so easy to just follow the law, follow the rules that y'all have to follow,
Right.
and not abuse your power, and everything will be cool. But they're pushing people to a limit, and they're pushing them into a corner, and it's going to be very dangerous for everybody if this isn't get a handle. If they don't get a handle on it, it's going to be very dangerous for everybody.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, maybe this, follows that question. But when you think toward the future of civil rights, what comes to mind for you? What issues or questions can you imagine will shape the next generation of active citizens?
I think having polling places and proper places that you can actually reach, and reservations and schools and elementary schools, more high schools, because everybody says the young folk being 21 through 20, so I'm like, no, 18. Like from 18 on up, everybody should start learning their politics just from high school on up. You should start preparing yourself for that. The same way that everybody prepares to take their driver's license. You should be preparing yourself for that. It's an important moment to go into adulthood. So I think that's it, and I think it needs to be better ways of how to get the fire in the youth to want to do it. So I think telling stories of the past and why that's important would give them a little bit more clarity of how to do it outside of my dad marching in. Because everybody here is kind of like the same old thing, but you can tell it different if you say what happened with Nelson Mandela, and Robin Island, then coming out and being the president. So that's when you put stuff in perspective, and when they can look back and see certain things, And it's like, no, it's just not here. It's in Jamaica, it's in Haiti, it's in, it's in all these different places with people of color. And I think that will put a fire up under them to be like, oh, it's a global issue. It's not just an American issue. So
Yeah.
I think that will really help too.
Yeah. Do you feel like growing up you were really prepared for that civic duty of voting? Like, was that something that you were raised on, or what was it like for
Well,
you? I don't know, topics of that.
Not really. It just was what it was.
Right.
Like, yeah, it was just kind of,
Yeah.
everybody like, hey, Congressman, this and that, and all that. I'm like, okay, that's Pops. But I didn't, what I'm saying? It was, that was just normal to me because I always say that he was doing this before my mom or I came along. So it was just kind of a natural progression with it. But, yeah, sometimes it was weird. Sometimes you can see walking past certain people, you see the hate. You can feel it radiating off of them, but I also understood that cowards mostly run in pack. They won't never say anything by themselves, even though you can feel it, you can see it. But yeah, they ain't gonna say nothing by themselves. They need to have their people with them for them to be like for that fear to come in. And I'm like, no, y'all not gonna intimidate. If it wasn't for all of y'all, each one of y'all individually would not do anything. But now it has to be a lot of you, and you probably had to be inebriated a little bit because outside of that, and as many times I've seen it, y'all don't do anything by yourself, ever. It never happens by themselves. But as soon as they go get a friend, then a couple more, then it's the yelling and all that, but they still won't approach.
Right.
So if you can talk them down or just not engage with them, then it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, is there anything else you'd like to share? Anything that relates to the exhibit or anything like that?
Not really. I think the exhibit is beautiful, though. I did an excellent job with it. It's a very beautiful exhibit. I'm glad how you captured DC too, because a lot of people don't know DC. I mean, I went to school here too, for my first song here in school at the Whitney School. Yeah,
Oh,
at the
cool.
Whitney School in DC. I wrote my first song. I was 3 years old. Yeah, so yep, and lived at number 9 Logan Circle.
Cool. Yeah.
Over there back in the day. Yep. So yeah, I know DC pretty well.
Wow.
So
Oh, you lived on Logan Circle?
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, we lived on Logan Circle not back then. No.
Yeah.
We couldn't play in the park across the street. Too many needles and just prostitution. Yeah, it was ugly
Different,
back in the
right,
day.
yeah.
It was very ugly back in the day. But it's I just love how y'all captured it. They did a very good job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
This was really great, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Oh, I have to stop it.